Hello everybody, this is Barry Hutt, co-founder and CRO for Viviota Software. Hope you're doing well today. Over the next 10 minutes or so, I want to talk to my National Instruments Japanese friends and give you a little bit of history and information about our platform and how, combined with the SystemLink TDM product and the time to insight, we can drive new business for our customers. So let's start with a little bit of background about our company. From the very start, it was our stated goal to help engineers make sense of sensor data. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're an engineer with the job of developing, building, or testing a product, you probably spend many hours a day collecting analog data or data driven by physics. The curves that make up analog data are enumerated by millions of floating point decimals. But this type of data is often misunderstood by the non-engineer, and it's ignored by standard big data applications. Those applications don't have the flexibility required to handle TDM data in a way that makes it useful for an engineer. And if you think about it, sensor data by its very nature is not organized. It comes from lots of different sources. It lacks metadata to give it context. Our time to insight product, together with the SystemLink TDM, is designed to help engineers easily find the data they need and give them a holistic view of the system they're working on. So as I mentioned, we focus on the engineer, and I'm talking about not just the test engineer, but R&D engineers, product engineers, test engineers, and more. We built out a set of utilities that allow engineers to easily ingest, find, and present the data they need in very unique ways, and then share it back out with their colleagues. We support thousands of different data formats and also allow all that data to be captured into a unified vision, which we call the Time to Insight repository. All this capability extends and uses this NI SystemLink TDM backbone. We also have created a type bond where none existed before with the very popular DDM desktop software. We also recognize that engineers have many tools at their disposal to do analytics, and so we purposely designed our product to mesh with their favorite tool of choice. We make access easy through a RESTful API that supports Python, LabVIEW, C++, and more. Now, many people ask me, what is the difference between Time to Insight and the SystemLink TDM product? Well, simply put, Viviota was designed to maximize the SystemLink investment and reduce out-of-box implementation cost. So we have wrapped up and developed a set of out-of-box data analytics, automated data ingestion capabilities, really powerful search capability that allow you to search through millions of floating point decimals and find what you're looking for very quickly. We've got a set of plug-in based UIs and dashboards that can be put together like Lego blocks to design a UI that is useful for your particular vantage point and need. And we have also extended a set of RESTful APIs with connectors to third-party databases that make the integration job that much easier. We have built some advanced event detection capabilities into the product that engineers can use to do data forensics or search through lots of data and looking at events, find new ways to create value for their own products, for their customers. Finally, we've laid the framework and created a development environment for engineers to begin to do machine learning against this data we've created, and then working with the National Instruments team that is working on their next generation of SystemLink Enterprise. We have committed to be a bridge to SLE. I want to be clear that selling SLE or selling the Time to Insight platform is two different things. Selling one does not mean you cannot sell the other. So if you take a look at our customers, they're some of the largest and best customers around the world. From GM to Stellantis to Honda, they have a very singular set of problems that we tend to go after, and that's enable engineers to spend more time doing true engineering work. If there's one slide I want you to pay attention to and take something away from, it's this slide. I often call this the value chain of data. And it's because at the upper right-hand corner of this is where customers want to be. This layer is the one that extracts the highest value from your data, and it allows you to create new innovations for your company. At the bottom layer, companies are very good at creating data. The problem is it's often locked up and not easy to share, and it doesn't have the right characteristics for the engineers teams around the world. So working with our customers, usually the first challenge is working with them to get their data in order. And then we take them on a journey that allows them to start to begin to extract information from that, and down the road begin to utilize AI and ML to really create some excellent value. Working with engineers around the world, all of them have very similar challenges that they're dealing with. First, they have a plethora or an expanding set of sensor data that they need to work with. They need ways to search it and track it very quickly. Next, they want to continue to use Excel and Tableau and MATLAB, so on, but they need to go beyond that, and they need to be able to do correlations and fuse together different viewpoints to solve different problems. And simply, the big data tools that are from IT are really geared towards transaction data. We're not talking about physics-driven data or analog data that engineers need to work with. And so they need their own set of tools. And then the number one thing and the number one value that even you get from the Time to Insight platform is this ability to very quickly detect critical events that may have happened, and to be able to dive into the data and be able to understand and get a real picture of the holistic system that was going on. So our Time to Insight product family is made up of multiple pieces. There's an edge product that usually is deployed at the cell level. We have a product that then can be deployed on a cloud to allow for searching around an organization. And then finally, there's a set of utilities and tools to allow the engineers to begin to do machine learning. You can see a couple of examples of this. We're working with customers on a battery life assessment project and sensor integrity. All this is built on the back of the SystemLink TDM products. And as I mentioned before, we integrate nicely with the Diadem product in ways, in new ways that make it a much tighter integration. Here's a couple of different use cases I wanted to walk you through. One is digital transformation with an automotive company. The second is a nuclear power plant. It is a next generation clean energy that they're building. So the automotive example, we started working about 4 years ago with the team that was developing the engines in Detroit. They came to us with a disjointed workflow that the engineer had. They had data literally strewn around the company. They had multiple licenses doing the same thing. They had numerous analysis tools that were overlapping and not compatible. And then these engines were inserted into their trucks out in Portland, where the final truck was actually developed and manufactured before it hit the road. And they had their own set of applications and home and SQL servers and files. And so the ability to share this in multiple locations became a really important touch point. They also had to work with their engineering, the broader engineering community that uses ASM database and other mainframe applications that they were still active. So to solve this problem, we created the TTI repository. And it's here where we consolidated the data and created metadata to develop a shared understanding of the data. Meaning, we gave the engineers a central place to go look at their data and smoothed out the workflow, added powerful search capability and analytics, and also allowed them to easily launch Diadem, find their data, launch Diadem to do deep analysis. So overall, the benefit to the customer was it decreased the engineer's time to find the data and work with it. it eliminated multiple tools to simplify the workflow and improve collaboration across the teams. Now at Kairos Power, as I mentioned, they're a nuclear power startup. They are creating a new process for developing nuclear reactors using salt molten. To do this, they had to put together multiple articles to test out their science. And it is an iterative approach, and they follow a very similar design, build, test process that engineers who are building other products would follow. But in the case of this, as you can see, this nuclear reactor it had hundreds of sensors on the system, and had different sources for that data, and it created thousands of files and tens of thousands of data points. They needed a way to fuse this data together with video, just make sure it was synchronized, and an easy to use interface for advanced searching and event detection. So at the end of the day, we created the TTI repository to consolidate this data. We now have a central engineering data. It was started in the New Mexico, and now we're in the process of moving this to the cloud so we can connect California and later Tennessee. We've automated a number of the analytics, as well as enabled a set of advanced event detection capabilities that they use to monitor 7x24. In doing so, we created a lot of unique views for the different users that want to see the data in different ways and different formats, from managers to executives. So I wanted to give you a quick idea of what it costs and the timeline it takes to implement a project with your customer. I do want to point out that these our largest anchor customers, when they go through this 3-year journey, end up being customers that are spending north of $600,000 a year with us. A lot of that is subscription revenue, which is a really nice annuity for you. We usually start in a pre-sale area where we kind of find the right folks, make sure there's some budget in place. But the key here is developing the pain point that we go in to try to solve and propose to them a quick a proof of concept or proof of value application, which we usually charge about $60,000 for. And it's that when we're done with this POV, we move it into a pilot phase and then into the expansion phase. The sales cycle on this, while it is long, it's really, the waiting tends to be on the customer side, as they need to move it through their process and bring people on board. So this idea of a workshop, sometimes this mini workshop can be held beforehand. If it looks like we will usually go in and ask to get a little bit of data so we can kind of take a look at it and understand what are some of the challenges they have we can solve very quickly. Once we go through that workshop, we'll develop and install the software, make any new UIs that could be required, or analytics that are required, and then we deliver that POV in the form of a demo and show the customer the value. All that looks good. We start to we'll actually build on that, expand it to a pilot, and begin to deploy it over multiple departments around the country. And finally, there's the overall, I'll call it upsell and cross-sell of the product as we expand it across that universe. So that is the quick journey. I hope this was helpful for you. Clearly, you may have lots of questions here. You know how to get a hold of me or Timon. And if there's anything else I can do for you or help you out, you know how to get a hold of me at barry.hutt@viviota.com. Thank you very much.